Hey guys, now let us see how to write a C program, that is structure of a C program. The C program basically consists of 5 parts. The first one, the preprocessor command and functions, variables, statement and expression, command lines. These are the parts of the C programming language. See, let us see first one, the preprocessor command. See, this preprocessor command, it is used to include the library files to the source code, that is the C program code, which we are writing the coding in a text editor. In that source code we can include the external files, that is library files, by help of the preprocessor directories. See, suppose if you are writing a coding solving some mathematical problems, here by help of the preprocessor directory we can, by help of this preprocessor command, we can include the mathematical header file to our source code. See, first you should know about the header file. The header file, it consists of the built-in functions, that is predefined functions. Already the function have declared or defined in the header files. What function we need, we can, depending upon that function, we can call the header file and we can solve the problems. For example, if we want to solve some mathematical functions, we no need to write code for each and everything. For example, if we want to find the square root, at that time we can call the built-in function by help of the header file, that is math.h. Each and every header file, it has the extension .h. See, by calling the math.h header file, we can use the functions, built-in function, that is square root functions were inside the math.h. Just we can call that built-in function, square root function. By help of the square root function, we can find the square root of the given number. So each and every header files, it has lot of built-in functions. Whenever we need that function, just we can call the header files by help of the preprocessor command and we can use that built-in functions. See, there were lot of header files. If the mathematical oriented means, we can use the math.h. Suppose if we need to draw some circle, square like that, there is graph.h, graphical header files were there. So when we need to draw some shape, just we can call the graphics header file .h, and there lot of built-in functions were there to draw a circle, to draw a triangle, palindrome. So lot of things were there. What shape we need, we can call that function, built-in function, and we can pass the parameter. By passing the parameter, we can draw the shapes. If a circle means, we should mention xy axis and the radius, 3 parameters. So like that, suppose there is string function also there. Suppose if you want to manipulate the strings, that is, if you are, there are a lot of functions in the string.h, that is the type of header file. Inside there are a lot of functions. Suppose if you want to manipulate the string, suppose if you want to trim the string or string, we want to count the letters of the string, there are functions, string len function was there. The string len, it is used to count the total letters inside the string. The trim functions were there. Suppose if there were the space, blank space were there, if you want to trim the blank space. At that time we can call the string.h, that header file. By help of that header file we can trim the unwanted blank space. String reverse, if you want to display the string in reverse, we can call string reverse function is there. By help of that string reverse function we can display the string in reverse manner. So when we are writing the coding, what we need, upon that we can call the header files. After calling the header file, there each and every header file contains, it has lot of built-in function. What function we need, depending upon that we can invoke that function and we can do some processing inside our source code. So let us come to this preprocessor command. This preprocessor command, each and every source code of the C programming language, very first we should use this preprocessor command. Say we should use the as symbol, number symbol. It is known as preprocessor. By help of this as symbol we can include the files, that is the preprocessor directories. So by help of this we can invoke the already built-in functions. Next one, functions. When we are writing a C program, at very first we should define the preprocessor command, after that function. Function is the main function. See, each and every C programming language, after the preprocessor command it has the main function. The main function, it is the starting of the C programming language. See, whenever we execute a C programming language, at that time, at very first the controller will point out the main functions. From the main function only it will start, and it will execute every statement from main functions. So this is the second step, we should include the functions, that is the main function. After that we can use the variables. The third part is variable part. In the variable part we can declare the variables, that is variable were used to give the input values. We can store the input values to a variable, and also it is used to display the output also. Say suppose if we want to add the two numbers, in that case we can, for example I am telling, we can use three variables to add two number. For getting the input values we can use two variables for two number. And third, result, example let us take it as result. This is the third variable. We can add the two variable where the input given to first variable and second variable. We can add and the result will be stored in result variable. After that we can display the result. In the result, what the number we have given to the two variables, that number will be added and stored in the result variable. After, if you display the result variable, in the result variable the output will be displayed. So the variable, it is used for getting the input and also to display the output. And next one, third part is statement and expression. See, statement and expression, each and every task, the printf, suppose if you want to print the output, it is a statement. Next one, the command line. See, this command line, it is used for our narration. That is, by help of this command line we can denote the remark, or we can denote the what we are going to do in the program, what are the steps we are going to do, how to solve some problems, that and all we can write it by narration by help of this command line. There were two types of command line. First one is single command line and multiple command line. See, while running the program, this command line were not considered. During the execution time, these lines, command lines will not be considered. It will be ignored by the compiler, because this command line is nothing but it is used for our own purpose, for our narration, for our description, what we are doing in the program, that process of the step by step what we are doing. For our reference, we can write some commands inside the command line. So these are the parts, basic parts of the C programming language. See, now let us see a simple program. See, very first one, include here stdio.h. void main function. Here open braces. See, this is the program. Here very first I am using the header file, that is, this is known as preprocessor command as symbol. After that, include stdio.h. Next, this is main function. Whenever we execute the C program, it will be start from the main program only. And next one, this is the command line, the double forward slash, it is used for command line. This is the single command line. And here by I am using the printf statement. This is statement and expression. Here by help of this printf statement, I am saying that print the statement, that is, welcome to C language. So while running this program, it will be, the string will be displayed, the string value will be displayed in the monitor, that is the display screen. And here return function, this is return 0, that is terminating the program. For terminate the program, we are using return 0. This is braces. Here while starting, we should use the open brace, and when we are closing at the end of the program, we should use the close bracket, that is close braces. So in this way we can write the C programming language. Here the include stdio.h, this is known as preprocessor command. this is function, main function. Here command line, this one is command line. Printf statement, this is statement and expression. This is also a function. Here, very first step, we are using the preprocessor command. Here, this one, the symbol as symbol, it says it is known as preprocessor. Next one, include stdio.h. Here, the stdio.h, each and every header file, it will have the extension, that is .h. It has the extension with .h. Here, stdio.h, that is the standard input and output .header file. Here, the input and output functions we can invoke in this header file. Here, this printf is a function, it is already defined in the header file stdio.h. From that header file, we are invoking the printf function. By help of this printf function, we can give some text values inside the printf and we can display that text in the display screen. So, this printf function, without the header file stdio.h, we can't invoke the functions. See, when we are executing a program, at very first the controller will go to the main part only. From main function only it will be executed. The function, that is main function, is the very first starting point of the C programming language. Next one, the command line. Here, while executing the program, this command line was ignored by the compiler because this command line is designed for us, because what we need, what we are going to do in the program. So, these narrations can be written in the command line. So, this command line won't be executed. Here, this is the single command line. That means only one line we can write one line by help of this single command line. For single command line, we should use double forward slash. Here, suppose if we need some multiple lines, in that case we can use this symbol, that is one forward slash, after star, then we can write multiple lines of statement. After, when we are completing the narration, at last we should use star and forward slash. This one for single command line, single. This is for multiple command line. Command line, multiple line. So, very first starting slash and star, at ending the line, suppose for 10 or 20 lines we need to write a command, means we can write like this. After completing, at the end of the command, we can use the star and slash. Next one, here printf. This printf function, it is stored or it is defined in the header file stdio.h. Here, in this directory, in the preprocessor directory stdio.h, the functions, printf function declared in that directory. When we are invoking that stdio at the runtime, it will be fetched from the external libraries. Next one, return 0. After completing every processing, to terminate from our source code, return back, we are using the return 0. Next, after this return 0, it shows the end of the program. Next one, closing the brace. Here we have, this is the open brace, this is the closed brace. In the void main function, we should compulsorily use this open and closed braces. From open and closed braces, within this brace only, we should write every statement, command line, everything, expression, statement and expression, everything will come under inside this open and closed brace of the main function. Let us see first one, the preprocessor command. Here the preprocessor command, in preprocessor command, it defined with the symbol as symbol, that is number symbol. The preprocessor compulsorily we should include in the first line of each and every C programming language. In that we should use the as symbol, for it denotes, as symbol it denotes the preprocessor directory. Preprocessor directory. Next to the preprocessor symbol, that is as symbol, the directories, there were 4 types of directories: file inclusion, fourth one is miscellaneous directives. Here let us see the first one, that is file inclusion. Here the preprocessor directories, it contains 4 parts. First one is file inclusion, second one the macro expansion, and third one conditional compilation, and fourth one miscellaneous directives. Here first one, the file inclusion. Here in file inclusion we can include the file, that is we can include the header file to our source code. See, this is the source code written by us. Here what is the preprocessor command? Include stdio.h. here the include stdio.h. This is the preprocessor. Include stdio.h. It is known as file inclusion. Here we are including the header file, that is stdio.h, to the source code, our source code. Here the combination of the header file and our source code, it is known as expanded source code. See, next one, here file inclusion stdio.h. Here the header file, this header file, it contains the built-in functions, number of built-in functions. We can, by using these preprocessor directories, we can include the header file to our source code. So here if you are not including this header file, at that time it will shows the error. So whenever we are using the built-in function, we should at that time the corresponding header file should be included to the our source code, to the source code, the code which written by us. So this one is known as file inclusion. And the next one, the macro expansion. Here macro expansion can be defined like this. First one, this also we should use this hash symbol. After the hash symbol, we can define a macro template and macro expansion. See, macro template, here for example I am saying it as inches. Here inches and 12. This one inches, it is known as macro template. This 12, it is known as macro expansion. See, in a program, this macro template can be called for many times. Whenever we define the macro template in the source code, at that time the corresponding value will be calculated or included in the source code, that is the program. See, for example, if I am writing a program here, inside the program void main, here some statement is there. Here if I want to calculate the inches, if you are giving the feet value and if you want to convert that feet value into inches, at that time, see, we can call this macro template. By help of this macro template, we can convert it in the feet into the inches. See, here let us keep it a variable f. Next, total. There were the two variables were there. Let us keep it as integer. Here f is equal to 10. Assign the value f is equal to 10. Here total value is equal to f into, we call the macro template, that is inches. Printf, here total value. This is the program. Here include stdio.h, because this printf function is inside the header file stdio.h. If you use the printf means definitely we should include this header file. See, it is a simple program. See, for defining the macro expansion, here there were two preprocessor directory. First one, it is the file inclusion, that is including the header file to our source code. Second one, the macro expansion. Here in the macro expansion, the inches, it is known as the macro template, and this number 12, it is known as macro expansion. This is the wide main part. From the main function, I am declared the two variable, one is f and another one is total, tot. F is equal to, I am assigning the value 10 to the f, and now total is equal to f into inches. That means whenever we define the macro template, here the macro expansion value will be highlighted. So f into 12, that is 10 into 12, 120. The total inches is equal to 120. If you are converting the feet into inches, we can convert it like this way. So we have called this macro expansion only one time. Some program, if you are, we need to call the multiple times. At that time, we can define it like this. Whenever we call this macro template, at that time the corresponding values will be accessed by defining this macro template. So here the value will be, the output will be 120 inches. So this is the simple example for the macro expansion. Next, let us see the conditional compilation. Now let us see the third one, the conditional compilation. Here, what purpose we are using this conditional compilation? Here, this preprocessor used for skip some part of the program in our source code. Suppose we need to skip some part, in that case we can use the conditional compilation. So the compiler will omit that part while executing the program. See, how can we define this conditional compilation? Here, first one, third one, conditional compilation. We should define each and every preprocessor command by the symbol as simple. After that, if def, that is definition, if conditional definition, here we can give the macro name. After that, here statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, at last end if. Here this is the macro name here. So when we define the macro name inside of the source code, at the time the statement inside the macro name, it will be compiled, other words it will be omitted. So for this purpose, this conditional compilation were used. See, for example, here we are defining the header file, defining integer main. Here in the source code if def sample, macro name is sample. Here statement 1, we can write statement 2, etc. And finally end if. This is if definition. Here end if. Here whenever the macro name sample is called, at the time this statement 1 and statement 2 will be compiled. Here statement 3, statement 4. Suppose let us keep it like this. Here this macro name is sample. Whenever the sample is defined, at that time these statement 1 and statement 2 will be compiled. Other words, if you are not defining the sample in the source code, remaining thing, that is statement 3 and statement 4 will be executed. If you define the sample, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 and statement 4 will be compiled. Next, miscellaneous directive. Here in miscellaneous directive there were fourth one, directives, miscellaneous directives. First one is it use preprocessor directive. Here next undef. This is one kind of miscellaneous directive. Second one pragma. These are the two miscellaneous directive of preprocessor. Here first one undef. This undef, it is used to undefine the defined one. Say for example, here I am using if def. By help of the if def, I can give some macro name, and that inside that macro name we can use some statements. Whenever I call that macro name, at that time the statement inside the macro name will be executed or compiled. See, suppose if I no need the statement to execute inside the macro name, that is if def. Here for example, let us take here if def. After if def, I am defining the macro name as sample. In the macro sample there were two statements. Whenever I define the macro name sample, at the time inside the sample the statement, every statement will be compiled. Suppose if I no need the defined macro name, by help of this undef, if I am using the macro name, at that time this macro will be turned off, that is false. It won't be executed, it will be undefined. So to undefine the macros, we can use the undef preprocessor directory. Here suppose if I am using undef, here sample, here this sample will be undefined, it won't be considered, it will be turned off. So for this undefining purpose, we are using the undef preprocessor. Next one, Pragma. Here in Pragma there were two types. In here, in the second one, first Pragma startup, next Pragma exit. Here we can declare the, by help of the Pragma startup, we can declare the function. See, while executing our source code, here the Pragma startup, it will be executed, that mentioned function will be executed very first, and Pragma exit, before terminating the program, at that time here the Pragma exit functions will be executed. See here, for example, Pragma startup, for I am function 1, I am here declaring it as function 1. Here Pragma exit, here function 2. So while executing the program, already I have told you, this is the program. At very first it will be start from void main function. Here suppose we are using the Pragma startup function, here the compiler, it considered this function as a starting function, that is the very first this function will be executed, which we declared in the startup function, and after that the main function will be executed, and next, before terminating the program, it will execute the Pragma exit function, that is here I have declared function 2. So this function 2 will be executed before terminating the program. So in this way, this Pragma startup and Pragma exit functions, exit processor were used, preprocessor directory were used. See, let us see one example. Here, if I am writing a program, include stdio.h. Next one, here defining the function void function 1, void function 2, here void main function, here I am defining Pragma at very first. Pragma startup, here function 2, and here Pragma exit function 1. Now let us see the simple example for the Pragma startup and Pragma exit. Here first I am simple program here, include stdio.h. After that I am declaring a function here, function 1. Next void here function 2. See, first one include stdio.h. After that I am declaring the two function, first one void function 1 and the second one function void function 2. This is the function declaration. Here by I am using this preprocessor directive, that is assembled by help of the pragma in startup. We can define the function, that function will be executed at very first. Here function 1, next one pragma exit, here function 2. Now write the code, why, that is main. This is the main function. Inside the main function I am using printf function. By help of this printf function I am displaying the message inside the main function. Return 0. Here this main function were completed. Here the function declaration. Now I am writing definition for the function 1. Here in function 1 just I am telling to print the message as printf inside the function 1. Next to close. Definition for the function 2. Here I am writing void function 2. For this I am writing the code printf inside the function 2. See, here these two are user defined function, fun1 and function 2, function 1 and function 2. So I have declared here function 1 and function 2, and I have defined the function 1 to just whenever this function 1 is called, at that time the message will be displayed as inside the function 1. Suppose if we are calling the function 2, at that time the message will be displayed as the function 2. Suppose in the main function I have defined, I have given the, by help of this printf function I have told to display the message, to display it as inside the main function. See, this pragma startup always it will be when during the execution time very first the pragma startup only will be executed. After that only it transfers to the main function. See, here at startup function I have declared a fun1. So when executing this program it won't go to main function. See, each and every time the C program when we are executing, the control will be go to the main function. From the main function only it will executed step by step. But if you are using this pragma startup in here, in this case the controller will go very first to the startup function. Here I have declared startup to function 1. So here the function 1 was inside the fun1. When we are executing the program, this statement will be executed very first. After that only it will go to the main function. When it goes to the main function, here I have told to display inside the main function. So the second at the second part it will goes to the main function. In this main function it will display inside the main function, and the exit function it will be displayed before terminating the program. Here I am telling to terminate the program, that is return 0 is used to terminate the program. So before terminating the program, this exit fun, the pragma exit fun will be displayed. So here in pragma exit I have called the fun2, that is function 2. Here it will display inside the function 2. So the output will be displayed like the very first in output, this statement, this will be executed first. So output will be inside the fun1, and next it goes to the main function. In the main function, inside main fun. After that exit, this is used to before terminating this pragma will be executed. So before terminating I am calling the fun2. So fun2, here inside the fun2 I have used the print, by help of the printf function I have telling to print the message inside the fun2. So the output will be like this: first one inside fun1, second inside the main function, and third inside the fun2. So this message will be displayed, this string will be displayed in this order. So in this way the startup and the exit, pragma exit, were used in the source code. Say now totally we have seen these 4 types, that is preprocessor directive. First one, file inclusion, to include the file to our source code. Macro expansion, we can create our own macros, and we can give the statement inside the macro whenever we need. When we call that macro name, at that time the statement inside that macro name will be executed. And next one, conditional compilation. By help of the compilation we can give the condition. By help of that condition we can compile the statement by using this conditional compilation. The fourth one, miscellaneous directives, that is start, exit, which one we need to start first, that can be declared by help of the pragma startup and pragma exit before terminating the program. Suppose we need to do some process, by help of this pragma exit we can define some statement. So in this way these preprocessor directories were used. Here this is our program. Here at very first line include stdio.h. So this is what kind of preprocessor directory? This is file inclusion, stdio.h. We are including the file stdio.h to our source code. Here the file stdio.h, it is a library files. It contains lot of built-in function or ready-made function. Whenever we need that function, we do some process. At that time we can call the functions by help of these header files. Including the header file we can call the functions, that is predefined function. This comes under the file inclusion. Next these things and all we will see. deeply one by one in program side. See, next this one command that is used for single command line, display some string, whatever we need, what we are going to do in the program, that kind of message can be, we can for our reference we can give it by the command line, because it won't be executed during the execute time. Compiler it will be ignored, compiler will ignore this line, this command line, so we can give our reference by using this command line. Here the printf statement, in this program I am telling to print welcome to C language. Here welcome to C language, it is the statement. Next return, terminating the program, so return 0. Next I am closing this open braces. This is the simple program. Here each and every C program we can write it in the editor. Each and every C software, it has its own editor. Editor means the text editor. By help of this text editor we can write the code and we can save the code and execute, compile, everything we can do it by that text editor, that is the C editor. Here let us keep it as editor. If you are writing this source code, here the editor file, after finishing the file, suppose if you are writing this file inside this file editor, that is C editor, after completing the program we should save the program. For saving the program, go to file, inside the file menu the pop-up box will be displayed. In that pop-up box you select save. See, save, or otherwise we can use shortcut key also. F2 is used to save the file. We can choose the menu in this way, or directly we can press the function key F2 key also. F2 is used for saving our source code, saving the program. Here if you are selecting this save menu, it will save pop-up menu. Here it will ask the file name. Say each and every C program we should save it with extension .c. Compulsorily we should use .c, because if you use .c only, the compiler at the execution time it will consider as a C program. So while saving the program we can give the file name. Suppose if you are selecting the save, selecting the file and you are selecting the pop-up menu save, the dialog box will be appears, that is to give the file name. In that we should use the file name. For example, this one I am saving it as sample dot C. Here the file name is sample. I have stored that file name sample with the extension .c. This is the extension .c. Next one sample, it is the file name. File name we can store it depending upon the program that relevant, we can give the file name. File name can be anything, but extension should be with .c. See, it is to store the file after completing the program. Now we need to check the errors. Here for debugging we should before compile the program. For compiling the program we can use Alt F9. This is shortcut key for compiling and run the program, our source code, we can use the shortcut key here. Save the program. We can use the shortcut key F2. Compile the program. We can use Alt key plus F9. Next, to run the program, or execute the program, we can use control key. We should press the control key and plus F9. Control F9. It is used for run the program. Here in this step, if any error, it will shows the error. If it is not error, zero error, we can run the program, that is execute the program. Well, suppose we are executing this program, what will be the output? The output display screen will be like this. Here the output, welcome to C language. Here the file name is what I have stored, for example sample.c. sample.c. In sample.c, if I am running this program, the output will be displayed like this, that is welcome to C language. So the output will be displayed like this, welcome to C language. So in this way we can compile and run our source code, that is the C programming language. We can save the program, compile the program and run the program in this way. Now after you are storing the program, that is saving the program, if you are compiling a program, if any error is there at that time, the total number of errors in the program will be displayed in the screen. Where you have done the mistake at that part, the compiler will shows the error. So F9, Alt F9, it is used for compiling the program. See, now if any error in this step, that before executing, with the error we can't execute the program. If any error is in our source code, we can't execute the program. After completing the error, after rectifying the error only, we can move to the next step, that is after finishing the error only we can run the source code. So if any error, the program will not be executed. So in the second step we should completely finished, that is completely there should not be any error. If the zero error only, we can execute the C program. So now let us see what are the types of error will occur while compiling the program. See, first one, types of error. Here very first one, syntax error. These are the types of error. See, first one, syntax error, logical error, runtime error, linker error, semantic error. These are the most common errors. First, syntax error. See, each and every statement, it has some syntax. If you are missing the syntax, at that time the syntax error will be displayed. For example, here in this program I am using here by the printf. The printf syntax is, there should be argument. Here after completing the printf function, we should terminate that statement with semicolon. Suppose while writing a program you are not using the, you forget to put the semicolon. Here if you are compiling this program, at that time the syntax error will be displayed. The compiler will show the syntax error, that is missing the semicolon. So this kind of error is known as syntax error. See, next one, see another some syntax error means, suppose if you are using defining some function, or we are forget to put this closing braces, we have opened this wide main. After each and every time when we are opening the brace, we should close it. This also a type of syntax error. Suppose if you are passing a parameter, inside how much, so if you want to find the string length, for example, there you should pass the parameter, one parameter, that is the one string, to find the length. Suppose if you are not passing the parameter, or you are passing more than one parameter, inside how much we need, that is the syntax, that much parameter only we should pass. If it is excess or it is low, then that is also a kind of the syntax error. So these are the syntax error. Next, let us go to the runtime error. In the runtime error, it occurs while running the program, that is the executing the program. For example, the most common runtime error is the divide by 0. This is the runtime error. While running a program, suppose if you are declaring integer a is equal to 10, integer b is equal to 0, integer b you are declaring. Next, b is equal to a divided by 0. This is divide by 0, or at the compiling time it won't show error, because every syntax is, everything was perfectly right. While executing, at that time, if a value is divided by 0, this kind of error is known as divide by 0 error. So this error will occur at runtime only. So this kind of error is known as runtime error. Next one, linker error. Suppose if you are defining a function and that relevant function header file is not there, at that time it will show the error, linker error. That means there were a lot of header files were there. Each and every header file, it has the group of built-in function. Suppose mathematically, if we want to use the functions, mathematical function means we can include the header file as math.h. This is the kind of header file. In same way, if you want to use include math.h, if you want to use string manipulation, for that string.h, this is a kind of header file. Malloc, depending upon memory allocation. malloc.h, conio.h, stdio.h. So in this way there were lot of header files were there. Each and every header files, it contains a group of built-in functions. So whenever we call that built-in functions, we should refer the corresponding header file to our source code. At the time only, while executing time, it will check and it will fetch the functions, the built-in functions inside the header file. So in this way, suppose if you are defining a function and you are not declaring the header file, at that time the linker error will be occur. See, next one, logical error. This logical error, it will be occurred, the output will be displayed but the wrong output will be displayed, because if you are not logically writing a code, the output will not be correctly. This is mainly, this logical error were done by the beginners. The beginner peoples will do the logical error. See here, for example, if we need to, we are using a variable integer sum. Here if you want to add the number one by one, suppose from 0 to 10, if we need to add the sum the series, here a is equal to 1. Each and every time the number, corresponding number will be added to the series. When I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 9, it will be executed. Each and every time the number will be added to the series. Here sum is equal to sum plus a. This one will be, the output will be for 9 times the sum will be added. Suppose sum is equal to 0. Each and every time sum is equal to 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So finally if we see, the result value will be 9. It will not show error, but it is logical error, because if you want to count the series, we should, here instead of a, we should mention it as I, because we should store the I value only. Instead of storing the I value, if we are giving the a value, the a value only each and every time will be added to the sum, and that means a value is 1. Totally 9 times a value 1 will be 9 times 9, 1 will be stored to the sum value. So the result is 9. So this is logically wrong. Suppose if you want to store the series number, means here you should use the I value will be started from, if you are using in the loop, I will be starting value, initial value is 0, from 0 to 10, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. to 9. Each and every time that corresponding number will be added to the sum. So the result will be a series of 9 numbers. So in this case, if you are using a, this is the logical error. Logically error. This is the type of logical error. Next, let us see about the semantic error. Here the semantic error. What is semantic error? The semantic error, it happens when the compiler can't understand our code, then that is the semantic error occurs when the statement is not understood by the compiler. At that time the semantic error occurs. Statement not understood by compiler means, see, let us see some example. Here in the program I am declaring I is equal to I plus 10. Here if I am not declaring I, at that time compiler get confused. Where to store this 10? If it is integer, before I have declared it as like this integer I is equal to 1. Next I is equal to I plus 1, that means I is equal to, already I have stored I value 1, 1 plus 10, that is the result is 11. Here it is okay, the I value will be 11. Suppose if you are not declaring the I, without declaring the I, if you are giving the statement I is equal to I plus 10, and then this type of error is known as semantic error. We have compiler don't know the I. Next kind of suppose if you are declaring the integer I, next here you are storing I is equal to some name, computer. Here also semantic error, because you declared the data type I is integer. So in I we can store only the numerical data, but here in I we have stored the string values. So this also the semantic error. And the next one, suppose if you are declaring a array variable, here integer a of 10, that means we can store the value out to how much? Array means more than one value can be stored to a variable. In array, in a variable I have declared 10, that means totally 10 numbers, 10 elements can be stored to the value, 10 values can be stored to the variable a. Suppose here you are giving a of 20 is equal to 2, here totally declared the size 10, but you are storing the value for the 20th position. So in this case also the error will be occurred, because from you can store the value from 0 to, that is the index value from a of 0 to a of 9 only. Here a of 20th value we can't store, because the declared variable size is up to 10. So in this 20th position we need to store the value to, here also this kind of error is known as the semantic error. So in this way we can find the errors in our code. These 5 errors are the common errors. So in this compile time, that is during this compile time, if any error occurred in this category, the compiler will source the error. Next one, if there is no error, 0 error, next we can go to the third step, that is if you are pressing Ctrl F9 we can run the program, we can execute the program. This is the shortcut keys. In the C editor also, by using the menu also we can, with the help of the menu we can do the process here. So in this way we can write the program, save the program, compile the program and run the program.